Hello, my name is Jean and this is Denis, and we are really concerned about the high levels of immigration.
And that would be the increased immigration that Kevin Rudd didn't tell us about before the 2007 election. But never mind, neither did John Howard when he started increasing immigration 10 years ago now. But over the last year, there has been so much coverage in the press, on television, on radio, about the associated problems with this rapid population increase. What can we do about it? There is something we can do about this, Jean, and anybody else who's tuned in. It's not commonly known, but it's in your hands. All you have to do is write reduce immigration. 2 words.
So how does this work, Denis?
It's so easy, Jean. All we have to do when we go to the ballot box to vote on election day is remember, after we've filled out our vote validly by marking all the squares, we write reduce immigration, just 2 words, on the top of the ballot paper, in that blank space at the top. It's that easy. Then walk out of the privacy of the ballot booth, fold your vote in half and slip it in the box like you usually do.
But is that legal, Denis?
Yes, it's perfectly legal. The AEC have actually confirmed this has all been done before. Back at the Franklin River Dam exercise in the early 80s, there was a big write-in campaign. They're called write-in or write-on. Back then, people in Tasmania, at a statewide referendum, wrote in no dams. 30% of people did it. Then in 1982, there were a couple of by-elections, one in Low in New South Wales and one in Flinders in Victoria. It was easy. People got the idea. In Flinders, there was a 42% no dams write-in. We can do that with immigration.
So, Denis, is there any other way that people can express collectively their concerns about these high levels of immigration?
Well, in the past, no. You look at the Liberal National Coalition, look at the Labor Party, look at the Greens. Famously, they do not talk about immigration or immigration levels before an election. You might recall Mr. Rudd. In 2007, he didn't tell us that he was going to lift immigration through the roof. But then neither did Mr. Howard 10 years ago now, when he first started lifting it gently, gently, gently. The parties and their candidates are supposed to represent us on big issues, but they'll never ask us about this one. They've always known better. We now think immigration is like the weather. It's out of our control. We become apathetic about this. We worry about the desalination plants that are required, about the congestion in cities, about the overcrowding of hospitals and the underfunding of so much infrastructure. We need to maintain what we've built over the period of our history. We can't keep stretching the way we are. We need to settle things down. Most countries in the world don't do mass immigration. It only happens in Australia, Canada, the USA, New Zealand and the UK in modern times. We do have a small sprinkling of representatives who understand this problem, like Kelvin Thompson, the member for Wills, Kevin Andrews, John Howard's last shadow immigration minister. Even Tony Abbott is now starting to get this. But why can't they do something to help us all on this issue? We need to help ourselves. They've proved for generations now that they cannot be trusted on this particular issue.
Well, how can we all build on this, Denis?
Well, with the No Dams write-in campaign in the early 80s, it was done over time at various by-elections through a referendum. It even got up to Canberra at one stage in the ACT elections up there. So the public got used to the idea. It was validated by the media and a lot of coverage of the Greens at the time. Bob Brown, who's still in Parliament, he should get right behind this right-in idea of reduce immigration, because after all, he is agreeing with everybody at the moment who's saying that we need to have a population policy, we need to reduce immigration. Why not, Bob? That's the whole problem with the status quo. It doesn't matter how passionately you might feel about it, you can't do a bloody thing about it because they don't have policies on it and they're not running on it, right? So all we can do is write reduce immigration in that space at the top of the ballot papers, regardless of who we're voting for. You don't have to get into a fight with anybody or your friends or your family about who you're going to vote for. You just say, well, I'm concerned about immigration levels and I'm going to write reduce immigration on the top of the ballot paper. It's perfectly legal, valid vote. It's not obscuring the rest of the numbers that you're going to fill in. So it gets you out of party political arguments. This is a non-partisan issue that the parties will be made aware of when we do our thing of writing 2 little words, reduce immigration, at the top of our ballot papers. Well, Jean, and anybody else who might be viewing this, I've got a little symbol here that I'd like you to have on behalf of all of us who feel that the government should reduce immigration and our efforts to stimulate them in that fashion. Feel confident anytime someone says to you, gee, Jean, what have you got that little Vegemite band on your arm for? You say, well, you're a happy little Vegemite and you're happy to talk about why we need to look after this country. The rest of the world is the rest of the world and it's fine, but the rest of the world don't really care whether Australia survives with us here or not. The rest of the world are a bit sort of oblivious to what goes on here, and if we're going to let ourselves disappear through these ridiculous policies over time, then so be it. It's up to us to actually do something about this, and the easiest thing we can do is just write reduce immigration on our ballot papers on election day at that space at the top, and be happy to talk about it with anybody who might see this on your arm as a happy little Vegemite that's happy to have the conversation. It would be wonderful if everybody who was wanting to do this and wanted to share the idea of writing reduce immigration across their ballot papers, be happy little Vegemites about it. It doesn't matter what race, colour or creed you are, when you come to our country, you want to do the best for its future. So by wearing one of these little bands off a Vegemite jar, it might be just a little indicator to somebody walking around, oh, he's happy to talk about immigration. Why don't you wear one? You know what this message is. You could sell this to people, just like Vegemite.